Good afternoon, everybody. Today it is October the 30th, 2020, and this is James Rontasasher coming at you with another video again. Now, we all know what's around the corner. We all know that next week on Tuesday is going to be a big day for the United States, in which we choose between the presidential candidates Donald Trump for the Republican Party and Joe Biden of the Democratic Party. A lot of us are still thinking, who do I want to vote for? Where's this country going? And every 2020 was a crazy year. What's going to happen when both these guys get elected? Now, for me, I have this ballot right here of the vote by mail, but I haven't submitted it yet because, to be honest with you, I've been looking at the election this year and the past few elections from previous years. And what I honestly have to say is that I honestly really don't like Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I have my various reasons why, and I'll explain. But first, let's go into what parties they represent. Donald Trump is the Republican Party, Joe Biden is the Democratic Party. Now, both of these parties, there are ideas that I agree with, and there are ideas that I don't agree with. The Republicans say, for example, I agree with them with their emphasis on capitalism and free market, individual hard work and effort, and not having the government dictate everything. Well, a lot more things over people's individual lives and let everyone handle their own business. Whereas the Democratic Party, I can agree with them for more of progressive social views, you know, such as having more electric cars, taking care of the environment, legalization of marijuana, the right that gays should get married, more things like that. And the Republican Party, the things I don't agree with is the Republican Party, from what I see, mainly consists of older people who have archaic values, like archaic Christian values. And I'm not religious myself. I don't believe in Christianity as a whole. I don't believe in everything in the Bible. And also, the Republican Party has a stigma of having this, how can I put it? They have a bit of a stigma against homosexuality, against certain things that the Democrats support. Where, whereas the Democrats, I don't like big government. I don't want higher taxes. And I think people need to take care of themselves rather than you going ahead and coddling people with welfare, social security, and food stamps so we can save them or take care of them. No, people need to take care of themselves. See, I'm more in between. I am more of the type of person that doesn't side with anything. I don't side with the Republicans or the Democrats because of what I said. There's certain things I agree with. There's certain things that I don't agree with. I think, given the way I am, I'm more of a centrist or a libertarian, but I just believe in my own personal political views and ideas, which makes sense to me. And that doesn't apply to the mainstream. Now, the thing is, I don't really care that much for Donald Trump or Joe Biden for various reasons. Donald Trump, I'll give it to him that he knows how to get things done and keep things moving and pushing forward. But for who he is as a person, we all know he's a prick. He's an asshole. He just says whatever he feels like at any moment and doesn't really think about what he's saying. And that's what's gotten him into a lot of trouble, especially with women, with Mexicans, and all different types of people. I'll give some people respect for being unfiltered with what they say, like if you're a comedian or a radio personality host. But when you're a politician, I mean, it's important that a politician tells the truth to their own people, but at the same time, you have to have a sense of dignity and diplomacy and being able to think several times before you say something which I have an issue with myself too. I got in trouble with that before. But you have higher expectations of a politician to just be able to get your point across in a way which resonates with everyone and doesn't turn people off. See, Donald Trump represents that opposite end of the spectrum. Whereas what I see with Joe Biden is that I personally think he just doesn't have it to be a leader of the country. I think that he's an old, senile, and wimpy old man who can't even remember what her sister or wife looks like. I mean, you've seen the news footage of how he forgets who's right next to him. And then he uses sensitivity. Oh, he's so sensitive. He's so caring. Yeah, but when it comes to being a leader, you can be a little too sensitive and being able to coddle people too much. And from what I understand, he wants to raise taxes. He wants to add more social programs. He wants to extend the lockdown of the coronavirus, whereas Donald Trump wants to reduce it and keep people from getting off of work and going back to work. I just think about it like this, guys. This election and the past few elections has basically, in my opinion, been like choosing between two bowls of shit with slightly different colors and smells to them. It was the same thing with Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Not Donald Trump, Barack Obama. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, Mitt Romney, and Barack Obama. Who the fuck was his name again? What was his name? John McCain and Barack Obama, and John Kerry and George Bush, and Al Gore and George Bush. And it's just basically, I just think about it like this. The past few elections have shown that our options as far as who we choose as president, it shows that our country has been on the decline. Because we've been choosing between two, honestly, overall mediocre presidential candidates, just like you're going back and forth choosing between two bad boyfriends or girlfriends. It's like, oh, I'm going with this guy because he has money, but he's abusive to me. Or I go with this guy who treats me right, but he has no money. He can't provide for me. So you go back and forth between these two people, realizing that they're both not the right one for you. Why not just do something different? That's just how I see the Republican and the Democratic Party. There are some things I like about both of them, but I just can't side with either of them. I just think, when are we going to realize that we ought to see about doing something that's different? We have a third-party candidate. I voted for a third-party candidate in the last election. I don't remember what her name was, but I thought she was a better option. But it's just, we want to get caught up and just, oh, Republican or Democrat. That's the only guys we got to vote for. No one else wins. Well, the reason why nobody else other than the Republicans or Democratic candidates win is because we don't choose to seek out other options or create other options. We think that only the Democrats and the Republicans are the only thing. Just like when you're back in high school and you're choosing between two of the class presidents, and you're choosing between two of the biggest popular kids who honestly were among the biggest douchebags in the entire school. You don't like them personally, but there's a lot of people that will vote for either one of them because, oh, these are the cool kids. These are popular. So I need to go ahead and vote for one of them so I can fit in and be cool and be like the other kids. I'm not that way at all. Okay? If I see a candidate that has my principles, has my points of view politically as far as what I want in a leader and where I want the country to go into, then I'll consider voting for him. And honestly, if I had to choose between one or the other, Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, I know people are going to hate me for this, even some people in my family. I go for Trump. Okay? Trump is an asshole, but he has actually gotten a lot of things done. He's gotten the economy going. He wants more secure borders, which I care for most. He wants to help build the economy and go ahead and turn this country around. He may be a fucking asshole, but he gets shit done. But still, it's like, I think that if they were able to come up with a third option as far as choosing the president, like if we were able to bring Abraham Lincoln or John F. Kennedy back from the dead, then I would vote for those guys much more than Trump or Biden. But these are just the options we have now. This is the best we got to do, folks. This is all we have to offer. And it gets back to what one of my favorite comedians, George Carlin, said. Where do these politicians come from? They don't just fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American families, American homes, American businesses, American churches, and they're elected and brought up by American citizens. So the point is that the reason why we come to this situation now in which we're choosing between a Joe Biden and Donald Trump is because it's just a reflection of who we are as a people. Okay? We created this. We create these candidates that we vote for, and then we want to complain about it. Well, look at us. Our country is not the same. Our country is not as great as how it used to be. Our education system's not as good. Our ability to freedom of speech is not that great. Job opportunities, especially for young people now, are terrible. Like over 40% of all college graduates are either unemployed or underemployed. And we have all these social and cultural problems. White versus black and Mexican Asians. Young versus old. Men versus women. We have this whole feminist thing going on. And MGTOW. And all this stuff, it's causing all this division and separation between all of us. And I'm pretty sure that what's going to happen, if it keeps going this way within the next few generations, is that our country is going to be so divided, we're not even going to be called the United States of America anymore. We're going to be called the divided states of America. It's like if I were to go from California to Texas, way different. Texas is more a southern, traditional, Christian-based culture where they value hard work and determination. Whereas California, it's not Christian, it's not very traditional, and we have a government here which enables people to go ahead and live off the system more so. Oh, we need to take care of the poor people. We need to save them. Like I remember I saw this one article a few months ago, or maybe it was last year, of how the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, went ahead and helped this family, these two women and their kids, to get into a house that they don't even live in and they don't even own just because they were black. These were black women that were living in a house and a property, homeless, that they didn't even own. And the police actually filed a report against them saying you need to leave the property. And he said, no, let them stay there. They need to stay there because we need to help the poor black people. No, they need to help themselves. Why did you put yourself in the situation? People put themselves in bad situations like that because of bad decisions they made. And when you were going ahead and giving them an opportunity to get something that they don't even deserve, what do you think that's going to enable the masses to think? They're going to think, oh, I don't need to work hard. I don't need to make responsible decisions. I don't need to be smart on how I live my life because the government is going to take care of bailing me out anyways. But at the same time, I think that we also need to work on taking care of our own people. I have a younger brother who's autistic. I tried going ahead and getting Social Security for him a while ago, but they said, well, he hasn't worked that many hours to qualify for Social Security. He hasn't worked at all because he can't work. He really can't. You think an autistic, even though my brother is a few years older than me, he's like a little kid. I mean, he may not be able to work, but at least he can get a little bit of something. I mean, just because he's not working and he's not mentally proficient in order to have a regular job doesn't mean that he should starve or be homeless. And he's living with my dad right now, but I'm still going to see about getting Social Security. It gets back to this, I think, is that the best way to live life is like the Buddha said, following the middle path. He made this metaphor that when you follow the middle path in life, it's like when you have a finely tuned string instrument. If the string is too tight, it's going to break. But if it's too loose, you're not even going to play a note. And I just think that for us in the United States, we are so divided. We are stretching ourselves so far apart that that string is going to end up breaking. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I just think that if it keeps going down this direction, I'm not even going to stay in the United States, to be honest with you. I'm thinking about moving to another country where people actually take good care of themselves. They appreciate their own country and culture. There's good opportunity there, and it's more affordable and cheaper to live in the United States. And just live a good life and not being bothered with all this drama and bullshit that we see here nowadays. I don't know. Am I still going to vote next week? I don't know. It's like no one really represents my ideas and where I think the country can go into. Maybe I'll just vote for Trump or some of these other politicians and doing some research on it. Just drop off my ballot, make at least a contribution, but I just don't really have any faith in the system that much. I don't really have that much faith in where the country is going and what's been happening. All I can do is just focus on myself and my goals and my dreams and doing what's best for myself and my family and friends. What everyone else does, that's on them. If we all collectively make better decisions with ourselves and our lives and have more sane and rational and middle path, central ideas, I think we'd be far better off as a country. But people want to get caught up on the bullshit. People want to get caught up, Republican or Democrat, black or white, Hispanic or Asian, young versus old, men versus women. It gets back to what Rodney King said. Can't we all just get along? But we can't. We want to just let all this ignorance and stupidity and just bickering and just hatred for one another just tear us apart. And it's just it's getting a bit out of hand, especially this year. With the whole George Floyd protests. Kids going into all these cities and causing all these riots and mayhem and destruction and fighting from the police and black people calling white people the devil again because of George Floyd getting killed by a white police officer and all this stuff. It's like, it's getting out of hand. I mean, I know that this country's been going through stuff like this for a while, but as far as what's going on now, it's just getting pretty crazy. Guys, if anything, what I can say in this video is that think about what it is that you're doing with your life and how it makes an impact. I mean, I just got to say that you can just do the best you can in your own personal life and just, again, not get caught up in all this bullshit. Okay? Do what's best for you and then just understand there are things that are beyond your control. And this whole country is like, well, again, what my favorite comedian George Carlin said, when you're born in this world, you're given a ticket to the freak show. But when you're born in this world, when you're born in America, you're given a front row seat. And just think about it like this. Are you a part of the freak show, or are you just keeping yourselves away from the freak show? Because if you are going ahead and saying, oh, Joe Biden, no, Donald Trump, fuck you for you, blah, 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 you're just another part of the freak show. That's all you are. But you should think beyond that and just say, I don't want to get caught up in all the bullshit. Just let everyone else do their own thing. And whoever comes along as far as a politician that makes sense, then vote for him. If not, maybe you might want to vote. Maybe you want to go and be a politician. Maybe you want to run for mayor, run for local office, and maybe even the president. Would I do that for myself personally? I don't really think so. The only life I'm leading is my own. The only person that I lead is myself. And besides, I know that for me personally, I am not going to be a type of guy that's going to have political or social views that appeals to everybody. Okay? There are certain things that are over here, there's certain things that are over there's certain things that are right here, and there's certain things that are right there as far as my viewpoints from all these different sources that make sense to me, that I just don't see myself fully appealing to any sort of group that's going to go ahead and support me as far as being a political leader. That's why I lead myself and the people who I love, who are interested in what I say. And also for you guys for hearing me out on my videos here, appreciating what I have to say. So, first, be a good leader in your own life and how you handle yourself. And then see about leading other people. That's what you all should do. Anyways, best of luck to you guys. Vote next week if you care to. I might still just do it just because. But at this point, I don't know. It's like whatever happens, happens. But I can say that if Donald Trump or Joe Biden gets elected, there's gonna be a lot of people upset about it. There's gonna be probably even more riots and protests throughout the country. That's gonna cause craziness. But luckily for me, I'm not gonna be around that. I'm living in a small little town in which we had protests for George Floyd a while ago, but it was just 20 people just marching around with picket signs, and that's it. It's not like I'm living in LA or Portland or Seattle where it's really bad. So I'm just going to be watching things as they go down and see what happens. And just be entertained by it. Like Dr. Dre said in one of his songs, The Watcher, it's all the same shit all across the globe. I just sit back and watch the show. Anyways, stay safe, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Don't get caught up in all the bullshit of what you see in politics and what you see on TV. Think for yourself first and foremost. Create your own ideas, your own points of view on things, and then just live your own life. Do what makes sense to you. As long as you're not hurting others, as long as you're not doing things to say my way is the only way, then that's all good. Peace out to you all. You have a nice day.